Welcome back to the channel of YourRussianGamer. Now, I promised this week myself to start a weekly series of Film Friday and I review them because, well, I like movies. But unfortunately, I was supposed to go see a movie this Friday night, but I would have been back too late to do a review on Friday, so I decided I would do it on Saturday, but it didn't work out, so I actually saw it last night. And now it's today's Sunday, and I'm doing the review today. Long story short, now I'm doing White House Down because, well, I saw it yesterday and why not review it, and I apologize for not actually uploading this on a Friday. I'm also going to be doing Mastery Monday. I know it sounds cheesy, but that's when I'm going to be doing my Weapons Mastery series. So yeah, watch out for those. Now, the gameplay you're watching in the background is like me just showcasing Dragon Camo and me just going 48-6 against just absolute children in Kill Confirmed Core. This is why Core is just an absolute joke, because I go in there first game of the day without trying 48-6. So yeah. Anyways, back to the movie. The movie itself, the trailers made itself like look really, really good. But then I saw some reviews on IGN and it was like, well, it's not that great. And so I really wasn't expecting very much of that movie, even though I saw the trailers and the movie looked amazing from those. So I wasn't going into the movie thinking much of this, but I left actually quite entertained, and I left thinking that this was a lot better than I thought it would be. There was a few logistical problems, just like there was with Man of Steel thing I reviewed last week, but overall it was a pretty funny movie, and there was a lot of moments in there that made you like, well, they put a smile on your face, and that I think was the goal of that movie. It was actually, when I first saw White House Down being like showcased in the trailers and stuff like this, I thought it was more of an action movie than a comedy, but it turns out being the exact opposite. Because the whole problem with the movie, the reason why people are looking down on it a little bit, is because the action is very stupid. There's a big downgrading of a problem. There's a massive crisis that's happening, and it's completely stupefied to the point where it just cannot be the explanation for this massive thing that's happening. Something that's happening on a scale like this cannot be explained by a really simple conflict like what's happening right now. So that was one of the problems that people had, and it's true, the conflict is very much simplified so that everything else could be more humoristic. I don't think a movie that has such a serious conflict would be able to incorporate humor with two of the, well, funniest people that I've seen on the screen in a pretty long time, Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum. Those did a pretty fantastic job in that movie. Now, the film itself, there's some logic behind it that's just wrong. No matter how you try to dumb the actual conflict. And there's anyways, if you've seen the trailers, you realize that there's like a group of people that takes over the White House. That's why it's called the White House Down. And there's people setting up on the roofs, like the people that just took over the White House, and they set up on the roof and they snipe something like 20 guards off the ground. So they have the ground completely to themselves. And so far there's like reporters, people in the military setting up just outside the gate. Now they're just sitting there and not doing absolutely anything. That's kind of a really weird thing. The second thing that was kind of messed up is the whole protocol of the people that run inside the White House. Basically, the defense is made so weak that like a group of something like 6 people can break in, shoot everybody, destroy everything, and have complete control of the situation and cause a national crisis. That's how kind of dumbified the storyline is. It's very unrealistic for anything even close to this to actually happen in real life. That's kind of a problem I have with the movie. I enjoy like comedy that would make sense realistically, and this one kind of didn't very much. There was a lot of conflict in there that didn't exactly seem very logical, because quite literally, I don't want to spoil a lot of this, but they just walk through the entire building, and every single time they open a door and shoot people, they weren't expecting them there. It's just kind of weird. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, so that's kind of the problems I have with the movie, but otherwise it's a very entertaining film. There's a lot of really cheesy lines in there. It wasn't necessarily the smartest of all comedies. It was a good mix of the action and the funnies, because there was a lot of parts in there where they make the president like this hipster gangster dude, and it's pretty cool. And there's a lot of parts where they make Channing Tatum look like he's an absolute idiot. But that's just basically the point of the movie, I guess. And also, another problem I have is the fact that Jamie Foxx is playing the President of the United States, and no matter how professionally you make him look, I can't imagine that ever happening, and the way he talks isn't the way a president would talk. And like, there's a speech that runs at the beginning of the movie where he's on TV and he's talking about the thing that he's gonna do, and it just sounds so unrealistic. It sounds like a speech a grade 9 student would give at a high school auditioning to be part of the student council. Like, that's what I'm kind of getting from that. And no matter what you do to Jamie Foxx, he can't possibly be the president of the United States. So it's kind of weird him being in that role, because it never really worked for me. During this entire movie, I never really felt his authority of being the president. And the other thing being is the fact that usually presidents aren't these dudes that carry around guns and fire rocket launchers. And so that's just another logistical issue that was made kind of stupid just for the hell of the funny. I guess that's the best way to explain it. And so that's basically what the movie does. It takes logic kind of out of the equation and just makes everything funny. There's just it was, I don't know if it was me watching it in the middle of the night, but I actually kind of felt for the movie. It felt a little bit like it was actually grasping me, and I felt a little for the characters, and it was overall a good experience. I wouldn't say it was as bad as people said it was, and the only problems that are with it is the fact that the storyline itself, the conflict, is just made with a very, very simple storyline that wouldn't really cause a national crisis like this. And so if you're completely fine with watching a movie where there's a lot of funny, cheesy lines, there's a lot of action kind of that's happening, and it's all unrealistic and a very large scale, but if you like those kinds of movies where things are really made stupid and it's pretty funny, then go ahead and watch this. I would definitely recommend it, because it was very enjoyable, and I wasn't expecting something as good as it was when I was walking into the theater. So yeah, I can give the movie a solid, 7 out of 10, because obviously comedy for me isn't the genre that I appreciate the most, but it was a very entertaining movie, so I'm not going to rate this like a 2 out of 10. So that's basically my verdict on the movie. If you're up for dealing with the logical issues and just forget about the storyline itself, the rest of it makes complete sense because it's just funny. And there's a lot of nice, there's a lot of kind of making fun of government agency type of jokes. There's a lot of things in that movie that kind of make fun of the Secret Service and the people that work for the government and kind of downgrade them a little bit, which is, I don't know, maybe a little bit on the offensive side, but I really don't think, because there's been movies that have been a lot worse than this. But if you're up for that, go ahead and watch this movie. Now, hopefully you enjoyed my review of this. Hopefully you agree after you come back and watch that movie. If you don't watch that, that's totally fine, because it's not a must-see, but it's suggested if you want to be entertained. It's as entertaining as any other movie that's in theaters right now. So yeah, see you guys later, and goodbye.